At night, in a Central American rainforest, a killer prepares. The victim is a young bat. Predator and prey are bound together by ties stronger than silk. Each is part of a larger organism, the forest, which needs the constant stimulus of death to sustain its huge and rich life. The young and the old are at risk, but coexistence between species, not vicious struggle, is the rule. The forest is a relatively safe place for healthy adults. Their special skills enable them to find food and not be eaten. The margay, with its almost unbelievable climbing skills, is without equal as a predator of the treetops. More plants and animals are found in tropical forests than anywhere else on Earth. Competition for food is intense, and often animals are both hunter and hunted. The dead leaf mantis has to be well disguised while hunting a grasshopper, so she doesn't end up as a meal for someone else. Even mating has its dangers for the male mantis. He must avoid being eaten, not just by other predators, but by her. She's stimulated by the dawn light to release a sexual odor which draws him to her. He approaches, cautiously, not knowing that she's already eaten. Only in the few minutes at dawn, before their predators start foraging, is it safe to mate. As it gets lighter, the mantis resumes its daytime disguise. Other mantids look like living leaves. Here, the leaf is growing lichen. It's a katydid grasshopper. Other katydids also resemble dead leaves, but some have taken camouflage to strange extremes. The sudden movements of this insect destroy the illusion that it's a stick. A tree hopper appears to mimic a thorn, but it's probably just making itself difficult to eat. Instead of hiding, some animals, like the poison arrow frog, use brilliant colours to advertise their poisonous nature. And others seem to court danger, like this fly which spends its adult life on the back of a golden orb spider, so it can rob its feeding host. With the change of light, the leaves change. They stop breathing and begin to capture the energy of the sun and convert it to chemical energy. It's the lifeblood of the whole forest, and a chain of predators and prey circulates this energy through the forest community. These caterpillars, protected by their stinging hairs, are at the beginning of the chain. This extraordinary structure is a bivouac of living ants, a temporary home for these forest nomads, which make part of the second link in the chain. As the forest wakes, the bivouac dissolves into a column of army ants. For insects, a raiding swarm is one of the deadliest predators on the forest floor. Many insects live as scattered refugees from the raiding column, often safe for generations, until the ants come back. Locally, small predators have a much more devastating effect on their prey populations than do larger ones. Often, animals like the peccary live alongside and within sight of their predators. The jaguar is unable to pursue a life of indiscriminate slaughter like the army ant. She goes about her killing cautiously. If she injures herself while hunting, it could be fatal, so she'll take the easiest prey available. Stranded catfish are ideal. There's no winter here and plenty of rain and sunshine, so the plants and animals have evolved in response to each other rather than to a harsh environment. The impact of predators and the need to compete for food and shelter have forced all of the inhabitants of the forest to become increasingly specialized in the way in which they interact. The survival of the forest depends upon these interactions. They are its life force. To understand them is to understand the forest itself. All plants live under persistent attack by animals, and most plants respond by defending themselves. But every new defense provokes a more sophisticated attack. This plant, Marcia, is able to move poisons to any of its threatened leaves. However, the Melania caterpillar has responded, and in a quite extraordinary way. It foils the plant's defenses by nibbling a circular canal before the poisons reach it. It's then able to feed on the center of the leaf, safe from the plant's defenses. Later, when the caterpillar's bigger and stronger and needs more to eat, it severs the main vein of the leaf, again to foil the plant. It appears to store the poisons that do get through in a special sac near its gut. They will help to protect it in its later life as a butterfly. To prepare for this life, the caterpillar searches for a safe place to pupate. There's a critical moment when the pupa must attach a special hook to the leaf. This anchors it securely during the miraculous change. She expands and dries her wings. Most butterflies only live for a few weeks. Melania's different. She must survive for many months to be sure of finding enough Marcia plants on which to lay her eggs. She solves this problem by seeking out the raiding army ants. This is a dangerous place for insects. Those able to escape the ants are often caught by birds which follow the colony. The pickings are so rich that some species, like the spotted antbird, are almost never found away from the colony. The bicolored antbird also depends on the colony, and like the spotted antbird, it doesn't feed on the ants, only on the fleeing insects. The birds will certainly attack a passing butterfly, but Melania, with her brilliant color, signals that she's poisonous, protected by the plant on which she fed as a caterpillar. She has to seek out the ants, because it's only with them that she can be sure of finding the birds and their droppings. These droppings contain the vital chemicals, amino acids, which will make her live longer and so lay more eggs. Not all predators are warned off by Melania's colours. Much larger than an army ant, the Paraponera is a solitary hunter and keeps his prey to himself. Other butterflies, not protected by poisons like Melania, are coloured like her to discourage predatory birds. Male Melania butterflies need plants too, but dead ones. They seek out plants of the Heliotropium family. When these plants die, they produce special chemicals, alkaloids. The butterfly takes them in through his proboscis, and with them makes pheromones or perfumes, which it then gives out through special hairs to attract females. These alkaloids are poisonous and may also protect the male throughout the rest of his life. Later, during mating, it's even possible that the male passes these alkaloids on to the female, along with the sperm which fertilizes her eggs. The alkaloids may help protect her later during her dangerous and lonely task of seeking out the Markia plant on which to lay her eggs and perpetuate her species. The whole web of forest relationships is held in a balanced tension by the need to eat, to reproduce, and to avoid being eaten in the process. The three-toed sloth has evolved a quite different technique for overcoming the defenses put up by the plants and for protecting itself against predators. Slowness. It converts food to energy and uses it at about half the rate of other animals of similar size. Its body heat, for example, is regulated by the temperature of the air, and its digestion is so slow and complex that it's able to feed on many kinds of leaves, often of dubious quality, which other animals won't touch. No two sloths will feed on exactly the same range of tree species. This greatly reduces the competition between them and enables more sloths to live in a forest. Moving slowly has another advantage. It allows the sloth's hair to stay permanently damp, and together with the forest's high humidity, this provides ideal conditions for green algae to grow. As a result, its greenish, unkempt appearance actually enhances its camouflage. And this offers an ideal environment for a species of moth which lives in the hair, probably feeding on the algae. Every few days, the sloth descends to the base of the tree to defecate. This is a vital moment for the moths. They lay their eggs on the droppings, and it's here that their larvae will feed and develop. As the sloth moves off, they flutter back onto their mobile home. Curiously, one of the slowest moving mammals in the world is one of the most successful in the rainforests of Central America. And it owes this to its bizarre lifestyle. Fruit-eating birds like the toucans and these oropendulas have played a key role in the evolution of rainforest trees. For these birds, life is easy. In order to get their vital seeds safely dispersed, many tropical trees produce abundant and brightly colored fruits, containing seeds which are indigestible. Later, the birds will excrete these seeds far from the trees. With so much food so easily available, these birds need to spend much less time foraging. So this has allowed more time to evolve elaborate nesting and courtship behavior. Chestnut-headed oropendulas put their beaks to good use when nest building. The nest is cleverly made by first fashioning a strong and well-attached necklace of palm leaf fibre, from which the tube of the nest will later be hung. Nesting materials are stripped from nearby palm fronds. Adult oropendulas live a long time, but like any animal in the tropics, it's the first few weeks of life that are dangerous, and so solid construction and careful choice of nest site are crucial. Nests are usually completed in about 2 weeks. By nesting socially, oropendulas are usually able to spot and drive off predators. This is the cuckoo in the colony, a female cowbird. She's monitoring the comings and goings of the oropendulas. Attempts at entering the nest are vigorously rebuffed. cowbirds are persistent, waiting patiently for the right moment. She must lay her egg only when there's a single or a pendula egg. The elaborate deception doesn't always fool the orapendula. The biggest threat to the orapendula colony is the botfly. Inside a hanging nest, young orapendula chicks have just hatched. They look healthy, but in fact, the botfly has just parasitized them. The growing botfly maggot will feed on the chicks until they die. Without some protection, the whole orapendula colony could lose all its chicks. The cowbirds are becoming increasingly bold and are met with less and less resistance. Even though the orapendulas appear to be more tolerant, the female cowbird must still choose the right moment to lay her egg. This time, the egg is accepted, and the reason soon becomes clear. The young cowbird on the left has hatched first, and has kept the nest clear of botflies, and in doing so has inadvertently protected the young orapendula chick. So for the orapendula chick, the cowbird is a blessing in disguise. This male yellow-rumped cacique is inspecting one of the nests. He's a close relative and often visits the orapendula colony to display. His own colony is in a nearby tree. As the dominant male, he defends his perch vigorously against other singing males. The slightly smaller females do all the nest building. Nesting caciques suffer the same problems as orapendulas, but in this colony, they vigorously drive off lurking cowbirds. The cacique's solution to the botfly problem is quite different. Their colony is clustered around a bee's nest. The bees are extremely aggressive, and the sheer force of their numbers excludes adult botflies from getting anywhere near the cacique nests. Protected by the bees, caciques have no need to tolerate the presence of the cowbirds. Fruit-eating caciques and orapendulas, free from the constant pressure of finding food, have had time to evolve complicated and mutually advantageous relationships, even with predators. During the intense heat of the afternoon, even spider monkeys have to rest. The hymenaea tree has evolved a quite different strategy for dispersing its seeds and frustrating the activities of animals which attack and kill them. It produces such an enormous crop that it simply floods the market with seeds, and so some may survive. The seed killers take many forms. Inside one of the pods is an adult weevil who has developed on the seeds. Having eaten most of the seed, now he has to wait to be released from the pod. Another seed killer, the agouti, specializes on large fallen pods like those of the hymenaea. Usually the agouti is solitary and territorial, but this seed crop is so large that several agoutis will be attracted to it. The rock-hard pods containing the seeds are so difficult to break open that the weevil can only get out with help. Agoutis also eat insects, so the weevil has to play dead to escape attention. Now it's safe to run off. Having eaten his fill at the tree, this agouti has carried a seed away to his territory, where he buries it. By burying individual seeds over a wide area, the agouti reduces the chances of their being stolen. Peccaries are also seed killers and are attracted to the pods. But they are not alone. This peccary is old. It's usually the old or young that are killed. Army ants are not as selective as the jaguar, and as a result, their effect on the smaller animals of the forest floor is much more profound. This colony is returning to the bivouac. There are about 500,000 ants here, and they devastate the prey populations. And it's this devastation which creates opportunities for more species to coexist. The pressure is always on the most vulnerable. For young plants and animals, the forest is a difficult and dangerous place. But for an adult, living mostly free from competition with other species, life is relatively safe. Night brings a renewed attack on the hymenopters. Even a kinkajou is attracted. It usually prefers softer fruit and will even go after honey from bees' nests. But in its search for a plentiful food supply, it will take the pods as well, even if they are hard to open. Liomis is a Central American mouse. Like most mice, it's an opportunist, and often steals the hymenaea seeds buried by agoutis during the day. It's a useful find, and nutritious. He's taken advantage of the agouti's ability to open the rock-hard pods. Occasionally, margies hunt on the forest floor, but they'll always return to the canopy to feed. In adapting to its specialized life in the canopy, the margay has reached perfection in design and elegance. Nowhere on Earth but in the rainforests has design and color reached such dramatic levels of expression. The hymenaea seed, buried by an agouti and forgotten. Now it's germinated, an important step in its battle to become a rainforest giant. The paca is a forest rodent. Before moving away from his burrow, he makes a token gesture at covering its entrance. He's a killer of seedlings. Pacas belong to the second wave of predators which threaten hymenaea. With the pressure on, both night and day, most of hymenaea's seeds and seedlings are gradually destroyed. The tree's seed crop has drawn all these animals like a magnet. No young hymenaea trees will grow near the parent tree, so a space is left which will be filled by other kinds of trees, which have completely different predators. The solitary seedling has made it. Forgotten by the agoutis and missed by the pacas, it develops well away from the parent tree. It's animals like the agouti and paca which usually prevent some species of trees becoming dominant and leave room for others. This whole process helps to make the forest a richer place. The presence of a jaguar reflects a healthy forest. This is the largest and most vulnerable of all the forest's predators. It's also the most dependent on the health of the forest. Fewer trees will support even fewer animals. It takes a large area of forest to support a single jaguar and to enable it to reproduce successfully. A hymenopod, for the time being overlooked by the animals. Inside, a weevil lies trapped, utterly dependent on the forest to let it out. But a new species has entered the forest now, one which doesn't understand or know the rules. Man. Not only in Central America, but around the world, within a generation, man will all but have eliminated the rainforests and stopped evolution in its tracks. The seed eaters have gone. The weevil is left to die in a wasteland. He was dependent on his environment, the forest. The forests are part of a greater organism, the planet, which cannot function without them, so we depend on them too. What kind of horrific consequences will there be for us when they have gone? For the dying forest, death was a natural and enriching part of life. It now has a new meaning, an end to birth.